This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
I saw you had retweeted this I don't know what account this is from College Baseball Central. Everybody does all kinds of, this is what the postseason's going to look like, and they lay out all the matchups and everything. And this guy, Micah Butel, put together a postseason structure that would make Alyssa's head explode. Matt, listen to this.
Yeah.
It's got Florida State hosting Florida and being in the same cross bracket from the Fayetteville regional. So you've already dealt with Arkansas and Florida State in a College World Series game in 2019.
Yeah.
But a regional with Florida State, man, you got to hope that happens, right? Or no?
Yeah. Well, I'm not really worried about the Gators because FSU already beat them 3 times this year, but I don't love it. I'd rather avoid it.
What about Arkansas, though? I mean, they are.
I can't do. That's too much. See, I just, and it's kind of like, not to go on a little soapbox, but FSU softball is going to Oklahoma's regional, super regional, which means you're not going to have Florida State and Oklahoma in the Women's College World Series, and I hate that. And so it's like, man, I want both teams to get there separately on different paths and not cross until the championship series if it comes to that. But I don't know if it's really going to happen, but I don't think I don't like it one bit at all, actually.
Hey, you mentioned softball. What happened in the Fayetteville regional, and not just what happened on the field, but in the stands? It's just you saw the photos of it, and it just didn't look like it was as highly attended as I guess I expect, because I remember the crowds from the regional last year and the super regional 2 years ago. I mean, this is a sport that's been on the rise, but I guess last weekend it didn't really feel like that.
Yeah, I think there might have been more people there than it looked on television. But Arkansas's game started 55 minutes after it was supposed to on Friday, and so maybe that late time had something to do with it. It was hot on Saturday. It was really, really hot, and that might have deterred some people as well. You've also got graduations happening. There's a lot going on, not to try to make excuses. But, yeah, it was not the crowd that it has been the past couple of super regionals and regionals that we've seen with Arkansas. And you go back to 2021 and just how exciting that atmosphere felt. I mean, there was still a good crowd there, but it wasn't the same. And then, on the field, they hobbled in like they did the year before. And you're not hitting well. You've got an Arizona team, which was impressive from the get-go when they ruled Villanova to start off the regional. They even, the way that they were hitting the ball against Arkansas, even though it was still just a 2-1 game, making solid contact, as opposed to the Razorbacks, who only got on the board because of a Rylan Hedgecock home run. So they just didn't have the offensive gun power that they had in the middle of the year. And so, I hated to see it end, but I also wasn't shocked because of how they were coming into the regional.
Yeah, speaking of this Arkansas baseball team, and Phil and I were kind of talking about it earlier, your players that you rely on, I mean, your stars, they have to play big if you're going to survive and advance. Who's a couple role players? Can Kendall Diggs, can he snap out of it? Do you think he can be? And what you want, and honestly, you just want him to be more consistent. Is he one guy that you just kind of have your, Jared Sprague a lot? I mean, is there who's a couple guys that you're like, man, if we can just get them a little bit over the hump, you could see us having success this year?
Well, Matt, I think Kendall is the guy. I mean, I know that there's 8 other people in the lineup, but at the end of the day, you got to get a guy like Kendall Diggs going again because he brings such firepower, and he was Mr. Clutch for so long that he's got to be that guy again. You want more consistency from Peyton Stovall. You're starting to see Hudson White come along, but I think the freshman Ryder Helfrich is a guy as a DH2 that you want to see start to get some hits. And if you've got Hudson White playing behind the plate, that DH spot with Ryder Helfrich could be really, really important. Nolan Souza is a guy who can step in there and be that DH as well, now that it looks like Peyton Holt's going to be playing in the outfield. But but your guys like Ben McLaughlin and Peyton Stovall and Kendall Diggs, they're going to have to really help carry the offense in the regionals. And Mike and I were talking about this yesterday. Once you get to the College World Series, and I'd really love Phil's input on this, pitching becomes a premium, and they've got the pitching to do it. They've got the staff to make a run because of the way that ballpark plays. But before you get there, you really need the offense to get going. The good news is Arkansas hasn't lost back-to-back games at Razorback Baum-Walker Stadium at all this year, and so it helps them if they're going to be a national host.
So just to play some devil's advocate here, last year's team won every series at Baum-Walker Stadium until the Fayetteville Regional.
Yeah.
It's a different team, though, and understood.
Yeah.
A much different team. They had an ERA that was over 5.5 last year, and it's a lot different this season. And that's the reason, more than anything, that I feel like playing at home, they're in a sweet spot. They really are. They're in a sweet spot. They actually hit better than I think folks think at home. And I don't see a team coming into Baum and winning 2 in a row over them. But yeah, I mean, you just never know when it comes to this thing, though, Alyssa. Who would have ever seen Tennessee losing 2 in a row to Notre Dame in 2022? We didn't think it would happen in 2021 against NC State. You never know. I mean, as soon as you try to predict baseball, you're always showing reasons why you shouldn't do it.
Ole Miss was the last team in the field, and then went on to win the College World Series 2 years ago.
Exactly. So. Exactly. I just think you want them to leave here with a good feeling about where they are pitching-wise, really. I mean, we focus so much on, well, the bats have to do this, the bats have to do that. They've gotten to where they are based upon how good the pitching staff is. And it's been shaken up in the last couple of weeks. You know, I mean, we don't know what situation Brady Tiger will be brought into, whether now or in the postseason. We still don't know how they plan on utilizing Mason Molina. Sure. All we know right now, and really I think these are the only 2, maybe 3 absolutes. Hagen Smith is the best pitcher in the country. You take that for what it's worth. Gabe Gackle maybe is the best freshman pitcher in the country, and they're going to count on him. And Christian Fouch has become somebody that I think you can really depend upon. You know, outside of that, there are some wild cards there.
Yeah, and you really want to see a guy like Will McIntyre turn it on, right? Like, the past couple of outings haven't been great for him at all, and so can a guy like Will McIntyre, who is an upperclassman on this staff, kind of turn it on like he has, and we've seen him in the past during the postseason, because they're going to need that from him, whatever his role may be. You got to have a guy like Will McIntyre coming in and pitching strikes.
Have you been to Hoover before? I know Pig Trail Nation usually sends people. Yeah. You've been here before, right?
Oh, yes. No, I went a lot when I was not the sports director. I actually was there. It might have been the last time I was there, though, was 2017, and I was pregnant with Finn. Because I remember walking around in that heat being pregnant, almost, 7 months pregnant. And it's a fun place. I do enjoy it. I don't think I've been back since then.
I think it works great for this league. So many people be like, well, they need to move it to minor league stadiums, and then need to try to get it to a big league park and everything. And I just think that sounds good. It probably would be fun, but I think it's a little more difficult to plan that kind of stuff in practice.
Yeah, I don't think you can hold up a whole major league park for a week.
Yeah, like the Big 12 tournament is ending on Saturday, and I think that might be a reason why.
Yeah.
They basically get to turn this into the league's own baseball park.
Right.
Not a lot of leagues get that.
Yeah, and they have full control over what they do and bring in and, all of that kind of stuff. So, I like it. And I like having it at a centralized location. As much as it sounds fun to bounce it around, there's something different about going to Hoover every year and going to Omaha every year and going to Oklahoma City every year. And it's, Saul and I have even talked about, because we love Omaha so much, that it should just kind of maybe when the kids are a little bit older be a thing we do, whether Arkansas's in it or not, because it is just so fun to go up there for the College World Series. I mean, that's what that's about, is kind of making it a tradition and going. And there are people who make Hoover a tradition, and they go to the SEC baseball tournament every year. And that's kind of what makes it fun.
Hey, Alyssa, we're 100 days away from Arkansas Razorback football season. What do you hope to see? What do you hope to learn? Is there anything over the summer workouts? We know who our starting quarterback is. Do we know who our offensive line is? Is there anything you want to learn before the two-a-days get here? I guess, what would that be, the last week of July or the first week of August when camp gets here?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be the first week in August.
Okay.
And, for me, I really just would like no one to get hurt while they're out there running around doing all these 7-on-7 drills and what they do and the lifting and all that kind of stuff. Because I don't really know what you can find out or figure out in that kind of summer time period. I mean, what you would hope is that Taylon Green develops a really good chemistry with a lot of these wide receivers, and it looks like he's already kind of solidified that kind of chemistry and bond with the offensive line and those guys. So that's really cool to see. You know what's crazy, though, because I'm going to Paris for the Olympics, and when I come back on August 12th, I've got to have a mandatory 5 days off to just reacclimate. So I am not going to be back at work covering the Hogs again really until the season starts. So I'm going to have to play a lot of catch up and do a lot of reading and listening to interviews in between now and then when I get back from Paris. It'll be fun.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.